20 years later, you still trying to get Billy Joe to love you. He ain't love you 20 years ago. He not going to love you if you live another 100 years. You understand what I'm saying? And some of this stuff is your family.
Come on.
The Bible clearly tells you that there's no honor amongst your family. There may be a select few, but there's really no honor. But it's not just talking about your at-home family, your blood relationship. It's talking about those in the body of Christ that's sitting on the pews with you. That's your family. Those are your brothers and sisters. And understand, some of them going to sit right there, shout and dance, and do all of that stuff with their holy self, and be just as envious and jealous and hateful and bitter as they can possibly be against you. And what it is that God is doing in you. But if they turn their focus onto themselves and get into the place that they need to get with God and allow Him to uproot all that ugly stuff from out of their heart. Because I'm telling you, what's in the heart is what comes out. That's why it is so significant. People don't go into war if your heart ain't fixed right. You can't war if your heart ain't right. Because if your heart ain't right, you're not going to be concerned if your brother gets shot in the back. You might stand there and see the bullet coming, but then remember, oh, he said that to me last week. I'm going to go and let that bullet hit him. Your heart is not right. You can't operate in no forgiveness. You don't have no meekness, no gentleness. You're not operating in no fruit. You don't have not a fruit. I don't want you going into war with me and your heart ain't right. I don't even want you praying for me if your heart ain't right. Don't touch me. Say that.
Yes.
Don't nothing. I'll tell you something. I went on an assignment last year. This woman of God, I called her and I was talking to her as we were flying. They had assigned me a different team. I was used to my same team. I only had 4 people that were out of my original team. Their other people were new, and they were young, some of them. And I understand that everybody has to have the opportunity to be trained. I was honored that they thought that I would be someone that would be good to train them. That's okay. That's what I do. But you have to understand that anytime something like that takes place, there is going to be some dissension in the camp. And now the team has been weakened, because until you can bring those new members up to par, until they are properly trained, they are your weakest links. We were going on an assignment that was prevalent to our lives.
Come on.
We were going on a very, very dangerous assignment. We had to go into a place to get some people out, and once we got in the place, we were going to have all of 35 minutes to locate them, find them, and be back up for the plane to come and get us, because once the plane flew through, if we missed the plane, we couldn't get out. I had one young man that was 20 years old, and all he did was talk. That's all he did was talk. I would be trying to explain them something. I'll be trying to give them instructions for something. And all he was doing was talking. As if he had been on several missions and he never been on land. He hadn't been nowhere past his grandma's kitchen probably. But he was talking. He was the hero in boot camp. Baby, this ain't boot camp. This is real life. He just kept on talking and kept on talking. And I kept saying to him, if you don't stop and listen, you are going to get somebody killed, probably yourself. I need you to stop talking, and I need you to hear I can't keep repeating the same instructions. Because he was talking so much, sure enough, he was always the one that never knew what was coming next. Because he was talking and did not hear it. So then he would have to talk some more, trying to ask the next person what it was that I was saying. If God speaks to you the first time and you hear him and you're listening, you don't have to run to 15 prophets to hear what he's saying.
Well,
because you had the opportunity to hear him the first time. But because you thought you knew everything, you're no longer listening to God. When you get to where you don't need God, that's when you need him the most. Because you already lost. And so, sure enough, we got on the assignment. And this young man caused us when I'm saying us, the rest of the team was out. He caused him and I to get trapped in a place and not get to play. Because we got out and he wasn't there. So as the leader, I had to go back in to get him. And could not find him immediately. And by the time I found him, he was wounded, almost bleeding to death. And so as angry as I was at him, I had to stay there with him and take care of him. So because I had assured this talking one, for whatever reason, he was my assignment. So you have to know who your assignment is. Because his parents, when we were at the airport, for whatever reason, they came up to me and said, can you please, and this was a killer, because I said God will identify you. I was in uniform. I didn't say, nobody said this is an apostle, this is a woman of God, but the man came to me and said, woman of God, we're counting on you to bring our boy back home. Now, I didn't even know the boy was a talker. I didn't know he was going to be a pain. I didn't know none of that yet. So being a good Christian that I am, sir, I give you my word that I'm going to do everything that is possible by the grace of God to do just that. He was my assignment. And by the grace of God, I was able to return him back to his parents. But he could have gotten us killed because he was talking too much, not hearing, because he didn't know how to get in his lane and learn. That's all. We have to learn. You can't ever lead if you can't learn to follow. I am where I am, and I have done the things that I have been able to do because I understood the significance of one being a part of the team. Because the victory or the success of the team lies on everyone. So in choosing your team or deciding what team to be a part of, you need to understand that you have to honor everyone on the team. You have to understand that even though the roles may be different, everyone is significant. Everyone is significant on the team. It's not about you.
That's right. That's true.
Let me tell you something. Petty disagreements, being caught up on petty things, will destroy the victory of a team. You are never going to have victory if you have dissension, if you have disorder, if you have chaos, if there's jealousy and envy. You're never going to have it, people. You're never going to have it. So the key thing is to remember, first of all, know who you are.
Yes.
If you've got to go into battle, and this is a battle time, there's a war cry that has went out. We are in the midst of warfare. And so this is time that we should be going into territories, and we should be identifying enemies, and we should be declaring war. But you first got to know who you are. You got to know who your enemy is. You got to strategically study him so that you know what it is that you need to go in and annihilate him. Because Jesus, you have to understand that you have to make sure that you understand the intelligence of the situation, of the area, of the region, and the environment that is surrounding the enemy and the place that you are about to declare war. And then you've got to assemble, based on that thing, the team that you are going to take with you. Because once you assess that situation, then you know what you need. Because if I know that you have the administrative mind and that you're going to be the one to assemble the weapons that I need to be able to shoot when I need to be able to shoot them, I need you with me. If I know that you can shoot as good as me and that I can't shoot everything at one time, I need you with me. If I know that you're going to be there with your nursing bag and your medical equipment, that you can patch us up when we are wounded, we need you with us.
My God.
But you have to be able to assess who and what it is that you need to be with you so that you can succeed.